Okay, so in this video, I want to walk through how you would go about changing a database table name when using ACF Custom Database Tables. Now, there isn't a built-in tool for doing this, and it's a pretty rare use case. So it is, and what I'm about to show you is a little bit of a workaround, but it's not hard to do. You just got to make sure you follow um, a sequence of steps. Okay, so to give you an idea, so I've got a field group here. It's the table name is called My Data, and if we look at our table, sorry, our database, I'm using Table Plus in this case. You might be using something completely different, but we'll see that we've got the My Data table. I've already got one post in there. It's got an original value. If we come over to posts, we can see that the original value is loading there, and if I update it, come and look at the database, reload, we'll see that that's changing. So that's working. Okay, so if we come back over to our field group, we'll take a look here and we'll notice that the table name is not editable, okay? And this basically satisfies most use cases for this plugin, but we're going to now walk through how to go about changing this. And the easiest way to do it is actually to modify ACF's JSON file for the field group, sync those JSON changes back to the field group so that the database is updated or the ACF's config is updated. And then you've got an option. So from that point, you can choose to go through the table creation process or table update process, in which case you'll end up with a new secondary table, which will become the source of data for this field group, or you can make a change at your database level to rename the table to the desired name and then run the process again. So the two different scenarios you're faced with there is one, you want to change to using a completely different table, or another one, you want to rename the existing table. Okay, so let's take a look on how you go about doing this. So I'm going to come back over to my field group screen and we'll see that local JSON, it's saved, okay? But what we want to do is we want to change that. So I've got my field group here. So this is this is the group here. I've opened that up and we'll see that the table name is My Data. Now what I want to call, I just want to call it My Data. Maybe we just want to change, maybe we want to set a year or something, right? All right, let's call it 2021. Now I'll save the field group, and the other thing I have to do to trigger a sync notification is change the modified time. So I need to increase this number by 1. So in this case, I'm going to change it to 80. Save it, come over to the field group admin screen, and we'll see the sync available. I'll hit sync. All right, and then if I open up that field group, scroll down to where the table name is, you'll see we've got my data underscore 2021. Now at this point, it's only updated the field group with, it's really only updated the field group. It hasn't changed the table name. It hasn't updated any of the table mapping. It hasn't updated the table schema, okay, or the JSON that's used to define that schema. So to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, if I look in the ACF JSON folder under database tables, you'll see that there's this table definition file. That's this file here. All right, so it's the file for this field group. If I open that up, that still has the original My Data table. And then if I go a bit deeper into this, I look at the table map. It's still using My Data as well. Okay, so basically what we need to do here is get this JSON file updated, and then from there we can determine whether we're creating a new table or renaming the existing one. So to update this JSON file, or the table JSON file, I just need to save the field group again. All right, so that's saved the field group. You'll see that it's now got table name My Data 2021. And if I open up this file here, okay, which is this file here, you'll see we now have My Data 2021. So that's got the new table name in the table schema JSON file. Okay, this still hasn't affected the database at this point. At this point, you have the choice of whether or not you're going to create a new table or if you're going to rename the existing one. If you're going to rename the existing one, this is the point in time where you rename it in your database. So if I was going to do this in Table Plus, I'd come to structure and I would go and change it there, or underscore 2021. if I didn't do this step and I went through the table update process, I would end up with two tables, one with the old data and then a new one with the new name, but with no data, okay? Most people are probably going to want to rename their table, so I'm going to do that here. I'm going to rename this to 2021 at the database level so that the database now has the renamed table. And then I'm going to come over to our field group admin again, and I'm going to go through this manage database tables process. So I'm going to create or update the tables. You'll see that this, it says it's created the table, it's actually just updated it. But anyway, WP underscore my data 2021. If I come over to the database, reload, we haven't got any additional tables. We've still got our original table there. If I have a look at the post, and I go and edit this data here, let's just say changed. Come over to our table, reload, and we'll see that the rename table is now being used. And if you like, I mean, it's obviously all working, so everything's updated, but if you want to triple check it, you could come over here and say, hey, my group has the right table name, my table definition has the right table name, and my table map is also using the right table name. So that's essentially the process or the workaround for updating a database table name when using ACF Custom Database Tables. I hope that helps. If you have any more questions or if you're running into trouble, just write in and I'll be able to help you.